Did you know that just one simple action, something you can do right now, right at home, could reveal whether you'll live well into your 90s or even reach 100? It's not a medical test, it's not expensive, but it might be the most important 10 seconds of your day. Stay with me until the end, because today we'll uncover a test, a story, and a set of habits that could quite literally change the way you age. And if you're over 70 and still doing this, well, you may already be among the rare few destined to live a long, vibrant life. Let's get started with one test that reveals more than you think. Interview Jim Miller never thought of himself as a remarkable man. He was a postman for over 40 years, walked miles each day, delivered letters through rain, snow, and blistering sun in a small Ohio town where everybody knew his name. At 74, Jim's life had slowed, but one thing hadn't changed: his morning routine. Every day before his coffee or reading the obituaries in the local newspaper, Jim did something peculiar. He'd stand next to his kitchen counter, lift one foot slightly off the ground, and balance, just for 10 seconds. To anyone watching, it might have seemed silly. To Jim, it started as nothing more than a game, a lighthearted moment from 3 years ago when his 9-year-old grandson, Benji, visited and challenged him. "Grandpa, I bet you can't stand on one foot longer than me." Jim chuckled. "Watch and learn, boy." That day they laughed and teetered like flamingos. But afterward, Jim kept doing it. Every morning, quietly, alone. What Jim didn't realize, what most people don't, is that this playful routine had become a silent, powerful barometer of his health. A daily check-in, not just for fun, but for life itself. It wasn't until last Christmas that everything changed. Jim's daughter, Emily, a nurse practitioner, was home visiting. She saw him doing the balance test as she made eggs in the kitchen. "Dad, where'd you pick that up?" He smiled. "From your boy, of course." She paused. "You know, that test has real medical backing. I just read a study at work. People over 70 who can't balance on one foot for at least 10 seconds have nearly double the risk of dying within the next decade." Jim blinked. "You're kidding." She wasn't. The research, now widely recognized by geriatricians across the country, had become a quiet whisper in the halls of hospitals. Doctors, nurses, and physical therapists were all paying attention to the same simple thing: balance. Because balance, as it turns out, is about far more than just not falling. It's about everything inside you working in harmony: your brain, your heart, your muscles, your nerves. Jim passed the test, sure, but what it meant was deeper than 10 seconds on one foot. It meant his systems were still in sync. But what if you're watching this and you can't balance? Don't worry, this story isn't about shame, it's about awareness, about finding out what your body's telling you and choosing to do something about it. You see, Jim didn't stop at 10 seconds. He began to wonder, if that one test matters so much, what else could I be doing now to keep this body working? This mind sharp, this spirit steady? That question sparked a journey. He began adding light stretching to his mornings. He joined a low-impact movement class at the local community center, and for the first time in years, he noticed his steps getting steadier. He even started hiking the trail behind his home again, slowly but proudly. "I thought my good years were behind me," Jim said, "but that little test reminded me, I'm not done yet." Now let me speak directly to you, the person watching this video. Pause it, right now. Stand up. Walk over to something stable. A wall, a chair, the kitchen counter. Take a breath. Lift one foot gently off the ground. Can you hold for 10 seconds? Try both legs. Count out loud if you need to. 1, 2, 3. Don't rush. Don't force it. Just notice. Maybe you wobbled. Maybe you nailed it. Maybe you need the support of a walker, and that's okay too. Because here's the truth. This is not a pass-fail moment. This is a window, a reflection, a gentle question from your body to your heart. Are we still in sync? And if you're standing strong, if you're over 70 and still able to do this, you might just be among the rare few with the makings of a centenarian. But even if you didn't hold steady, you haven't failed. You've discovered where to begin. And that's the first real step toward living longer. Part 2. To understand why balance matters so much, we have to step back and listen to the doctors who've seen what happens when we ignore it. Dr. Lauren Hirsch, one of the top geriatric specialists in the US, explains it like this. When a 75-year-old can't balance on one foot, it's not just about strength or age. It's often the first visible clue that something's off inside. It could be early dementia, a drop in circulation, blood sugar changes, even inner ear problems. Balance is like your body's check engine light. Now think about that. You wouldn't drive across the country with the check engine light blinking, but too many seniors go years, decades, without tuning into their own warning signs. That's where this story shifts from a personal habit into a public wake-up call. Let me tell you about another patient of Dr. Hirsch's, Sylvia Benson, age 83. Sylvia lived alone after her husband passed. She still drove, still made homemade biscuits every Sunday. But one morning while putting away dishes, she reached for the top cabinet, lost her balance, and fell backward onto the floor. No broken bones, but something else broke that day, her confidence. After that, she started skipping church, stopped going to her weekly book club. What if it happens again, she'd say. Her doctor recommended physical therapy, but Sylvia, like many seniors, dismissed it. I just need to be more careful. But the truth was, her body had been whispering warnings long before the fall. She just didn't know how to listen. That's the message from the experts. Balance isn't the enemy. Ignoring balance is, because once it slips, so can everything else. Daily tasks, bending over to tie your shoes, stepping into the shower, reaching for the top shelf, become small battles. Independence, the cornerstone of dignity in old age, gets chipped away. Fear takes root, and fear, more than anything, can age us faster than time ever could. But here's the beauty of it all. Balance is one of the few things you can actively improve at any age, even in your 70s, even in your 90s. Let's revisit Jim for a moment. Last month, his grandson came over again. They played the balance game. This time, Benji lost, laughing as Jim grinned, arms out like a tightrope walker. Afterwards, they sat on the porch sipping lemonade. "Grandpa, how do you do it?" Jim smiled. "I never stopped moving, kid, even when life slowed down." That's the secret. It's not about perfect health or marathon strength. It's about momentum, awareness, intention. It's about recognizing that the body, even when it aches or slows, is still capable of growth. And balance, that quiet, humbling skill, is the glue that holds it all together. Now I want to ask you, what's your balance telling you? Not just your physical balance, but the balance of your day, your mindset, your habits, your joy. Because when one part shifts, the others follow. Jim learned that. Sylvia learned that. And so can you. Even if you've fallen before, even if your legs shake, even if you feel like you've aged too far to change, you haven't missed your chance. Your story is still being written. And maybe, just maybe, if you take 10 seconds each morning to stand still and listen to your body, you'll be one of the ones who lives not just longer, but fuller. And now, part 3, meet Mabel, age 90. Mabel Lee never liked being fussed over. At 85, she still insisted on making her own tea, writing birthday cards by hand, and keeping her fridge full of groceries she picked herself. "I've got my legs, my arms, and my will," she used to say. "That's enough." But one chilly October morning in her Raleigh, North Carolina kitchen, Mabel slipped. It wasn't dramatic. No thundering crash, no scream. Just a quiet fall, the kind that steals something without warning. She reached for the top shelf to get her cinnamon canister, her cozy morning habit for decades. Her foot caught the corner of a rug. Her wrist caught the edge of the counter and bent the wrong way. The pain was immediate, sharp, but what lingered was something worse. Fear. The break healed. The bruises faded. But Mabel had changed. She stopped using the upstairs bedroom, started ordering groceries instead of going out, skipped Sunday choir practice, declined the garden club's fall picnic for the first time in 20 years. "I didn't want anyone to see me unsure of my steps," she whispered one day to her niece, Jenny. You see, for Mabel, independence was more than a word. It was her identity. She had been a nurse for over 40 years, a widow who raised 2 boys alone, the kind of woman who brought soup to sick neighbors and refused to let anyone carry her bags. But after the fall, even the thought of climbing stairs left her hands clammy. She began walking slower, holding railings tighter, sleeping with the hallway light on, just in case. "I felt like my body had betrayed me," she later told a local health magazine. "I was afraid of the floor, afraid of waking up and feeling helpless." Her doctor gently recommended physical therapy. Mabel refused. "They'll treat me like I'm broken," she said. But what finally broke through wasn't science, it was story. One Wednesday afternoon, her neighbor Gloria, 76, knocked on her door. She handed Mabel a flyer. It was for a senior wellness program, Tai Chi and Gentle Balance, hosted at the local community center. Gloria said nothing, just smiled, patted Mabel's arm, and walked away. Mabel stared at the flyer. The picture showed a circle of older adults, arms floating in the air like soft birds. There was something calming about it, something familiar, yet new. And then, that Friday, it happened again. She dreamed she was walking down a hallway, her childhood home. Her father stood at the end, arms wide. She stepped forward and fell. Woke up gasping. That morning, Mabel signed up. The first class was humbling. The instructor, a kind woman in her 50s named Caroline, welcomed everyone with warm eyes and a gentle voice. "Tai Chi isn't about perfection," she said. "It's about peace in motion." Mabel felt stiff, self-conscious. Her arms trembled. Her legs protested every shift. But something strange happened that day. When the class ended, she felt safe. She didn't fall. She didn't falter. She simply moved. And that was the beginning. Week after week, her body began to remember its rhythm. Her breathing deepened. Her posture straightened. The tightness in her shoulders eased. By the third month, she was moving through the full sequence without needing a chair for support. And beyond the physical change, her spirit returned. "I didn't give up moving," she said. "I didn't let fear win." She started using the stairs again, slowly but surely. She began making soup again for the church's Wednesday dinner. She even danced, really danced, for the first time in 5 years at her grandson's wedding. "I felt like myself again," she beamed. And now at 90, Mabel is planning a trip to Alaska. Alone, number but unassisted? Yes. She said something in a recent local radio interview that stuck with every listener. "A fall may change your body, but it doesn't have to steal your life. You just have to teach your body how to trust itself again." And it all began with a flyer and one brave choice to move. Now ask yourself, what would it mean to reclaim the parts of your life you've surrendered to fear? Would it mean walking to the mailbox again without gripping the wall? Would it mean standing at your stove without worrying about slipping? Would it mean dancing at your granddaughter's wedding? Mabel's story is proof. Resilience isn't about age, it's about response. And the next, part 4. Let's find out about how to improve balance at any age. Let's be honest. When we talk about improving balance, most people imagine tightrope walkers or yoga instructors on Instagram. But improving your balance has nothing to do with perfection and everything to do with preserving freedom. Here's the truth. You don't need a gym. You don't need expensive equipment. You don't even need a personal trainer. What you need is commitment and a few smart strategies backed by science and real-life success. Let's break it down. Step 1. Practice the one-leg stand with support. We've talked about the 10-second test, but let's turn it into a daily habit. Here's how. Stand behind a sturdy chair or next to a wall. Gently lift one foot just 1 to 2 inches off the ground. Hold for 5 seconds. Rest. Repeat with the other foot. Gradually build to 10, then 15 seconds. Even if you wobble, even if you need to touch the chair, you're improving. Every second your body learns to steady itself is a second closer to strength. Step 2. The heel-to-toe walk. This one comes from physical therapists working with stroke recovery patients, and it works wonders. Here's what you do. Stand tall. Take one step forward, placing the heel of one foot directly in front of the toes of the other. Take slow, measured steps in a straight line, like walking on a tightrope. Do 10 steps forward, turn around, do 10 steps back. This simple walk builds coordination, activates your core, and trains your muscles to stabilize during motion. Step 3. Try gentle yoga or Tai Chi. You heard Mabel's story. Tai Chi is more than graceful hand movements. It's a balance miracle. Studies have shown that seniors who practice Tai Chi regularly reduce their risk of falls by up to 43%. Yoga, too, is a gift. Not the twisted pretzel poses you see on TV, but gentle, modified poses using chairs, walls, and blankets. Yoga taught me how to breathe into my balance, one 82-year-old viewer shared on our channel. I never realized how much my posture affected my fear of falling. Look for community classes or free YouTube videos designed specifically for seniors. Step 4, strengthen your core. When we think core, we often think of six-pack abs. But for seniors, the core is your balance control center. Every time you sit and stand, reach and lift, your core is what keeps you centered. Simple ways to engage it. Chair squats. Sit down and stand up from a chair without using your hands. Seated marches. Sit tall, lift one knee at a time as if marching. Wall push-ups. Stand a foot from the wall, press in and out slowly to build arm and core stability. A strong core reduces your chance of falling and increases your chance of dancing. Step 5, fix your environment. Your house can either protect you or betray you. Here's a checklist you can act on today. Remove loose throw rugs, trip hazards. Install grab bars in the bathroom and near stairs. Use non-slip mats in the tub and shower. Ensure hallways are well lit, especially at night. Keep a sturdy chair in every room, just in case you need a rest. Think of your home as your wellness partner. The safer it is, the freer you are to move. And bonus tip for you, partner with your doctor. Many seniors avoid telling their doctors about balance issues for fear of losing independence. But silence is more dangerous. Ask your doctor, are any of my medications affecting my balance? Should I get a hearing or vision test? Can I get a referral for physical therapy? A few small conversations can lead to huge transformations. Let me share a quote from Dr. Hirsch again. I like to say, use it or lose it. If you stop moving, you'll lose your ability to move over time. Balance isn't something we're born with and keep forever. It's a skill, a relationship, a daily agreement between your body and your will. And the best part? You can start that agreement right now, just like Mabel, just like Jim, just like the thousands of viewers on this channel who decided not to let fear write the end of their story. They're walking, dancing, reaching, living, and you can too. And finally, let's pause and take a moment to speak from the heart. If you're over 70, you've likely been through things that younger people can't even begin to imagine. You've stood at gravesides. You've seen friends fade away. You've survived illnesses, loneliness, perhaps even wars. You've watched the world change so fast it often feels like you're standing still while everything else rushes past. Maybe you've asked yourself quietly at night, where do I fit now? That's not weakness. That's wisdom seeking purpose. Aging in many ways can feel like a slow drifting. You may have once been the center of the family, raising kids, hosting holidays, solving problems. But now, the phone rings less. People talk around you more than they talk to you. The doctor visits grow longer while the dinner invitations grow fewer. And while your heart still beats with stories, jokes, dreams, and a deep desire to live, not just survive, the world doesn't always listen. But hear this now and hold it tightly. You matter. You always have. And you still do. Balance isn't just about the body. It's a symbol. It's about staying upright in a world that sometimes forgets you're still here. And if you're 70 or older and you can still stand on one foot, even for a few seconds, you're not just showing strength. You're showing defiance. You're showing that you're not done, that you still belong, that you're still writing your story. Think about Jim. He didn't just stand on one foot for 10 seconds. He stood for connection, starting each day with his grandson, becoming his buddy, his model of grace under aging. When he walks Benji to school now, it's not just a stroll. It's a message to every neighbor watching. Look at me. I'm still here. I still move forward. Or take Mabel. She leads her Tai Chi group now. Imagine that. At 90, a woman who once feared her kitchen floor now floats like wind through a community room. Newcomers to her class often ask her, "Aren't you nervous about falling again?" She smiles, points to her heart, and says, "Not when I remember who I am." These people didn't just recover balance, they recovered identity. And maybe, just maybe, it's your turn next. Because aging isn't about exiting the stage. It's about stepping into a new spotlight, a softer, more meaningful light. And here's something even more powerful. Your balance could save someone else. Yes, someone younger, a daughter, a neighbor, a friend. Someone who looks at you and says, "If she can still move like that at 78, what excuse do I have?" You become a lighthouse, a reminder that strength has no deadline, that worth isn't measured in youth, but in resilience. That balance isn't just a skill, it's a statement. Meet Harold. A veteran's quiet revolution. Harold Burns is 82. A retired Marine, he spent most of his life preparing for war, then most of retirement recovering from it. PTSD, knee surgery, and decades of loneliness nearly erased his will to move. But one afternoon, he stumbled across a YouTube video. This channel, actually. A balance test. He tried it, fell against the sofa. He laughed, then cried, then stood up again. Now, Harold does 5 minutes of balance training every morning. He started posting about it in a veterans group. Today, over 2,000 veterans have joined him. "Balance saved my body," he wrote in a letter to us, "but it also gave me a reason to stand again." Meet Letty, the widow who chose to dance again. Letty was married for 51 years. After her husband passed, she stopped dancing, stopped smiling, stopped answering the door. She thought life had closed its book, until her daughter sent her a clip of 90-year-old Mabel doing Tai Chi. That same week, Letty stepped out, nervous, trembling, and signed up for a beginner's line dancing class. Now every Friday at 3 p.m., she wears bright lipstick, her favorite blouse, and leads the group through boot, scoot, and boogie. "I didn't know I was allowed to feel joy again," she said, "but balance brought me back." Balance is not just about standing up straight. It's about rising when everything else tells you to sit down. It's about reclaiming your space in the world, in your home, in your own body. So whether you live alone or with family, whether you're a war veteran, a widow, or a woman who once ran marathons, if you can still move, still think, still feel the fire of living inside you, then your story isn't finished. It's evolving. The next chapter might just be the one that defines you. And now, let me say something personal. If you've watched this far, you've done something incredible. You've chosen curiosity over comfort, hope over habit. You've said, maybe there's more life in me yet. And that is no small thing. So here's what to do next. Try the balance test again tomorrow. Don't chase perfection, chase presence. 1 foot, 10 seconds. That's all. Comment below, can you do it? If not, what's your goal for this week? 1 second longer? Less support? Let's grow together. Share this video with a friend, a sister, a neighbor who's afraid to leave the house. Let this be the moment you remind them they're not alone. Subscribe to Dear Seniors Life, because this isn't just a channel. It's a movement, a family, a safe harbor of stories, tools, and encouragement to help you age boldly and beautifully. And finally, hear this. You are not just growing older. You are growing deeper, wiser, more powerful. You've made it through storms that could have broken you. You've stood when others sat. You've smiled through heartbreak and made soup for people who never said thank you. You are not invisible. You are essential. And if you can still stand on 1 foot, even for a second, then you can still stand for something. And that's something? Life, love, strength, legacy. So go. Stand tall. Stretch your arms. Move with pride. Let the world see that resilience never retires. And maybe, just maybe, if you can still do this, you're destined to live to 100. We're rooting for you. With all our heart, Dear Seniors Life.